Hey guys, welcome to another Coach Spotlight powered by RockDaisy. I'm your host, Ron McKeefrey, and excited to have Patrick Nolan. He's the owner and founder of Pivotal Sports Performance out in Denver, Colorado, and then his director of coaching, Jaron Whitehead, out there as well, man. Fellas, I appreciate you jumping on with me and talking a little shop here.
Absolutely.
Of course.
So you guys are in a performance facility that kind of works with different high schools in the area, different pro programs, different athletes around the board. You kind of span the gamut there. When you get those athletes in and you're trying to figure out what you got to work with, how do you go about kind of assessing where they're at?
Yeah. So, on normal day, we'll get, 2 or 3 evals coming in, mainly middle school, high school athletes. And we have a series of tests that we track in our programming throughout our phases and things like that we like to make sure that we get a baseline data. We call it an eval. We tell the parents, we're not evaluating your 6th grade kid. It's just baseline data for us. And then I always like talking to our high school kids. I'm like, if you see the progress going the other way, you get to fire me. So, it holds us accountable, and it also just helps them track. I always say, they see their hard work paying off because they see these reports and everything. So yeah, as you can see, we have our battery tests. This makes our eval forms. We used to do paper, clipboard, all that stuff, and then have to plug it into Google Forms, Team Builder, Train Heroic, whatever we had during those times. But now with RockDaisy, it's just a one-stop shop. And now we don't even have to go back and backdate it and put in those numbers. Or if we forget to, it's on the right day. So it's beautiful that RockDaisy kind of created this for us. So if we just go to with the battery test, we can select what we want. So we test our triple jump, triple broad jump, vertical, depth, and then it adds all that. If we want to, add our a shred mill assessment, it puts all this into one easy one area to plug in, and then we just have an iPad out there with our athletes. And then this is how it looks on the iPad as well. We go through it. If we're on our depth jump, we plug in those numbers. Then we're going to go to our broad jump, and it just easily switches, plugs in those numbers, and save it, and it's instantly saved under that athlete's profile. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. And then we know it's on, today is November 12th, the first day they put in those numbers. So November 12th, 2026, we can compare these numbers in a year's worth of training if we're lucky enough to have an athlete for that long.
Yeah, I think, those time stamps, date stamps and reducing the amount of friction of having to put data in at the end of the day and those types of things. That's big. Jaron, talk about a little bit about how you use that battery test when you're actually implementing it. How are you giving feedback to your athletes with those tests and kind of setting it up?
Yeah, most definitely. So once we get that baseline stuff, whenever they come in, we're constantly tracking everything. If we have an athlete who's coming in twice a week, chances are we're probably testing 4 different metrics, whether that's a speed, a jump, or any type of lift. We're using velocity-based training with our perches. And we have force plates that we're getting the kids on all the time. So we're constantly tracking things. What's also nice is from the perch and the force plates, we can take that and integrate it straight into RockDaisy. So I don't have to take the numbers off of that and enter it in. I just go on the back end of it, load it all through pretty much the cloud essentially. And then what we can do is pull up a report card. So let me pull that up here for you guys. So within this, I have a QR code out kind of on the floor. The athletes can scan that QR code, go through that, and they can put what metrics they want to see where the progress is coming from. I can have a parent scan this QR code as well. Within that, we go back into RockDaisy, and just like with the battery test, we can go in and select all of the different metrics that we want. If it gets loaded up in here, boom. So this is majority of the stuff that we are testing week to week when the athletes are coming in. So I already have them pre-selected so I don't have to go in and change everything. So with John here, just going in, if we want to look at his approach jump, we can see that in his baseline jump, it was 33 inches. His most recent jump was 34 inches. So they can kind of see where am I at compared to when I first came in. Then we also can see the highs and the lows. As we know, training and the adaptations that we're making is not going to be perfectly linear. Or going straight up, so they can kind of see where they're at within all of the different things that we are collecting. It's also nice, easy visuals for the kids. If we have a middle school kid who just wants to see a green arrow going up, that's easily understandable. Same with the parents. Like I said, they're the ones who are also putting in some interest into their kids' training. They want to make sure that they're getting good or getting better as well. So pulling this up, whether I print it off and it's a hard copy or put it in a PDF and I'm able to share it to the parents or the athletes when they request it is super easy.
Yeah, I think that's super innovative. I actually did not know that you can do the QR code. But the ability to limit, how many, get people asking about what their password is or, what the site is or what, the app or whatever, being able to just go scan that QR code and go pull up their profile for both the parents and the athletes. I think that's very innovative. I like that. I know whenever you're running a business, just like anything, culture is everything, right? And getting athletes to want to compete, to want to buy in and create a training environment where they feel like they're getting better. Patrick, talk a little bit about kind of, some of the things that you guys use to,
Yeah. So number one, I mean, just like most weight rooms and things like that, we have a regular record board in the middle of our gym, smack dab. You can't miss it. It's not your typical record board. Ours, I mean, we're a speed focused gym, so we have a lot more speed and power metrics on there than, a squat and bench and stuff like that's not even on ours. And then on our linear speed area, we have two big whiteboards that everyone's writing down their best numbers. So it's just easy. If we're doing like a 5:15 sprint, they could see, or even just see like, hey, my buddy ran a 1:30. I'm going to beat him today. It's like easy to see. And then, they PR'd, erase their name, get the dry erase marker, put those up as well. So just, that's a fun one. But then also, sharing here, we have iPads where all the kids are logging in their information, and we have designated iPads of like, our broad jump is at this iPad this week. So then RockDaisy makes it easy for us to just print these out. As you can see, like if we wanted, so this is our high school, we have them on our course 2. If we wanted to go to our middle school, we just click out of the high school, we go to our middle school 1 under 3 while it loads. It'll pop up and we have all there. We have the 5:15, the 5:10, our broad jump height. If we wanted to do it just, we could, again, we're still working on adding our positions and sports and everything. But if we wanted to just get into males only, and this is how we separate it in the weight room with all the iPads. So like they know, like, so Landon knows like he has the best 5:10 fly in the middle school group. Riker knows he has the best broad jump and it's there. And then, Liam's right there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to beat Riker this week. And just, so it drives that intent. Luckily our culture, no one's bashing anyone. If it is, it's good humor. It's nothing like personal. We've, knock on wood, haven't had to have any of those conversations with an athlete or something where, like, our kids that are at the bottom of the list aren't embarrassed. They're more motivated. So it's kind of a great tool. We love it and super thankful for that because it makes it a lot easier than going on Excel or Google Sheets and trying to formulate that all ourselves to try to make it easier.
Yeah, for sure. Jared, what, when you're throwing out things like iPads on the floor and Perch and Hawkins and all these different tools, that are technology, like a guy like me, 30 years in the business, right? I remember when a computer lab went into my college, right? What do you how do you feel like technology is playing a role with current athletes and current coaches and being able to make your life easier as a coach?
I kind of touched on it earlier where we don't have to necessarily have a piece of paper and a pen and I'm trying to write all these numbers down and figure out what date we're writing it down on. What's really nice is majority of the kids already know how to work an iPad and it's just another app on there. So just showing them one time, I mean, I could have a kid come in here right now and they can run the force plate for 30 kids if I needed them to take them through it. So I think it just makes having everyone come in here, it's super easy getting through the things that we need to get through without those hiccups of, okay, do I have a pen right now handy on me? I need to track these numbers down. Okay, just go put it in that iPad. And like Pat said, so we have our 3 different tests for the week. Each one has a little label underneath it. The kids say, okay, we just did our broad jump today. I go over to the broad jump iPad, get into RockDaisy, type my name in, and it's super simple. That way the flow throughout the session is super easy.
Patrick, when you were making a decision here to integrate technology and RockDaisy, there's always a learning curve that goes into that, right? There's always kind of how do I want to display this? How do I want to put it together? What's my flow from dashboard to dashboard and those types of things? What advice would you have for someone just, that's thinking about making that jump to an athlete management system, and what should they go into it with? And then what's the reasoning for it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a coach now for 12 years, and I think I have 10 years of data that I've never used. I have it on pieces of paper, probably on my desk, some from 5 years ago still that I have yet to input in anything. So it's like, why am I wasting time tracking those numbers if I'm not using it? But going to a system like RockDaisy has, like, we are using the data now, and it's been 12 years in the making. That's what makes it more comfortable to buy some VBT equipment, force plates, things like that. Cause I'm like, 5 years ago, I'm like, all right, cool. I just use it just for intent only. But now I'm actually applying it. We can see trends on the report cards. We can get, whole group report card things where we see those trends where I'm like, all right, that exercise didn't help really that week, or like this phase, where do you think we kind of messed up because we didn't see the same trends, things like that. So it's definitely helped me. I'm just actually analyzing data now because, I feel like a lot of coaches, I'm sure you've been there too, we're going to track data this time. And then, if it's on paper or on Excel, things like that, you're like, I'm just going to coach. So it actually is very helpful and useful because it is so user-friendly and easy to use. So if you are a coach that has some sort of technology and you're starting to collect data, getting an AMS is critical, I think. And it's going to help you, and actually it brings value to, a private side too. We get, going back to our evals, apparent, like, what should we expect from these numbers that we just got now? Like, we have numbers and normative data now that we could provide these families that like helps with the selling point as well.
When you were evaluating all the different AMS systems that were out there, what drew you to RockDaisy?
I mean, one, just the personal relationships. Elvis was great. It was at a conference. I mean, he just seemed like a regular guy. It wasn't some sales guy, things like that. And then Cody, I have a good relationship with. So one, relationships on that side helped. But then also, I mean, like I said, with the battery test, I think they made that for us. I emailed them. I'm like, hey, is there a way to like make an eval form, something like that? I had a conversation with Elvis, and literally that afternoon, he's like, try this. And then we like went back and forth, and they were editing some things, and now we are fully paperless with that. So just the customer service side too has been great with RockDaisy. And just on the platform itself, I mean, Jaren's younger than me. That's why I brought him on, because he's better with the RockDaisy stuff. But I am, not the most computer savvy myself, but it makes it is easy for me.
And again, somebody that remembers a computer lab going into their college, like, it was easy for me, to figure out, use. And it's one of the things that drew me to them, which is the convenience and you, like you said, the customer service piece. Those guys feel like they're a friend that you can call, but they're actionable. They take action quick.
Yes.
And they're solution based. They're not trying to tell you how to do it. They're giving you a couple different options, and you're picking what works best for you. So that's what I appreciated most about them. Where do you see, pivotal sports performance going in the near future when it comes to integrating tech in general?
Yeah, I mean, the report cards and just kind of getting deeper and deeper into the normative data. Like, we want, a seventh grade football player that's a receiver. Like, he comes in and during our evals, and we try to get like what their root cause is. Like, why do you want to come here? To get faster. Of course. Like, what does that mean to you? Like, we get deeper because we want to build those relationships. Oh, I want to go D1. We can show them, here's all our receivers that went D1. Here are these numbers. And then it just helps drive those athletes. So that's our biggest goal now, is getting back into, at first just getting all our athletes in there and everything. Now we're getting more detailed, putting in their position, their sport, their year, everything like that. So we could really break down. So in 2 years, I think we have a lot of that normative data where it's a soccer player, midfield, your lacrosse face-off guy, like all that stuff. We could pinpoint to like, here are the numbers of this guy got recruited, this guy went to this school, and things like that. So I think that will be really cool and a huge selling point, again, in the private side for sales.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing some incredible stuff. I mean, the QR codes, I think, is innovative for sure. The process of getting them into the protocols early with the battery, the battery test, and showing them how they're going to use technology and be cutting edge, right away in that process, I think is a pivotal piece when you're in a very competitive space and trying to recruit people to performance facilities. Like, you got to show, like, there's got to be some data there. There's got to be the ability for parents, the stakeholders, to say, hey, look, this is working or this is not working. So you guys being on the front end of that and using technology like RockDaisy is super cool to see, man. So appreciate you guys coming on and sharing, and thanks for letting everybody have a peek into the window here.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate you.